Alright, this section we're going to go through is MASUKAN KAKI, Tiga, and Empat. MASUKAN KAKI is a leg entry. Again, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, then you really need to go back to the first DVD. And that has a lot more explanation and things. That's not the purpose of this DVD. At this point, you should already kind of understand the system and what's happening. And if you don't, like I said, go back and look at it. This is really just for those who do and have already owned that and processed through it. Otherwise, you shouldn't really be looking at this material yet. So we're going to start off with our Alis and our Garak for Tiga and Empat, and we're going to put in place our Lanka now. So coming through, I'm not going to worry about hand entries at this point. I'm just going to worry about our MASUKAN KAKI. So, okay, now that's a slow process for you to see how this is done. I'm going to use my ready process. I'm using my lean. Well, you'll notice when you do MASUKAN that your need for Alis is inherently combined with your MASUKAN. So if you're doing a Masuk, you don't really need to do your Alis, it's already there. Okay, so just by virtue of me coming over here, I've already done my Alis. So I don't really have to think of it as being a separate piece at this point, because it's not. It's part of my MASUKAN. My next bit is to upset his structure, okay? Now, you can do that all at one time versus all the separate parts, but the separate parts are like this. Okay. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you upset the structure of his body without letting him collapse onto you. You want to maintain your structure, your control, your stability. And if that means adjusting your feet, like I come in here and I'm real close to each other, right, and that is putting a lot of pressure on me to bend backwards. Rather than bend backwards, I want to just adjust my step, my footwork. And you'll notice it's made it harder for him. Yet I'm more structurally sound. So that's kind of what you're looking to do with MASUKAN KAKI. One thing you can practice with Tiga and Empat to make your entries better is to try not to spend so much time going upward as around. Okay, and by that I mean I don't want to go like that, which is obviously an exaggerated version. I'd rather do this. Okay, put my energy into moving to the side versus up and to the side. That's MASUKAN KAKI Tiga. In this direction we'll do Empat. Again, my Alis, my Sempak, and placing. When I place my foot on both Tiga and Empat, there's really only two ways to place your foot in PSP. One is heel down, and one is toe down first. Okay, and then you plant. If I put my heel in first, then I plant my toe. If I put my toe in first, then I plant my heel. The basis for making that decision is what part of your leg is touching. If the back part of my leg is touching, then I use my toe first. If the front part of my leg is touching, then I use my heel first. Okay? When he strikes, I'm going to put my toe in, right? Because it gets me reaching further than I could if I put my heel in first. Then I squat. By just lowering myself into my position, my legs put pressure on his legs and collapse his structure. Sometimes that happens. That's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. Okay, this is a more controlled version, which doesn't have quite as strong of an entry. And you can have variations of that. If I want to, obviously it's very easy to take them down. That's kind of the purpose of this. If you do it lower at the more at the ankle, you'll get less structural change. If I do it higher at the upper knee, lower thigh area, and so on, it all changes it. I'll come this way a little bit. So again, Alice, Iraq, Penchagat tongue on if you're wise. Since we're going to the inside, I'm doing my Sempak, hooking back, pressing down. When I do this press down, I want to do it toe to heel. Alright, and one more time for Tiga, and we'll be good. So that's MASUKAN KAKI, Tiga, and Empat.